Beloveds, welcome. I can't describe how it feels to be in this space, in our sanctuary. It's both beautiful and it's missing something, of course. It's missing all of you. I'm Lydia Ferrante Rosebear, and the minister of this congregation. And I begin today by acknowledging that this land, where this sanctuary is, and all the land that we inhabit, was once stewarded by the Arapaho and the Cheyenne nations, and that Colorado's Front Range is home to many Native people. May we honor this land and these people with our actions. I'm joined today in the sanctuary by the lovely Jessica Lakeman, who is both videoing today and will be also telling some stories and leading other pieces of the service. And I'm noting how fitting it is that we gather today, September 20th, when we are in the midst of the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, as we also begin our new church year with the water ceremony. This entire service is pre-recorded, but I do hope that many of you have signed up to stop into the sanctuary and merge your waters in our bowl, which you will see shortly, following the service. We'll start that at 10:30. And I want to thank Deborah Mensch immensely for not only taking this pre-recorded video and turning it into something that you all can watch uninterrupted, but also for creating the video of all of your recorded memories of how and when you collected your water. And of course, though we cannot be in the physical presence of one another, we gather together for you, for this fellowship, this community of beloveds who know the necessity of remaining bound together through turbulent times. No matter how we gather, you are welcome among us, and you are always worthy. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome, and you are beautiful. In all the ways that you experience and express gender, you are welcome, and you are exquisite. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome, and you are beloved. In all the ways that you make your living, in all the places that you are from, you are welcome to bring them along with you. Christian, pagan, humanist, Jew, Buddhist, mystic, Muslim, Unitarian, Universalist, with all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome to bring them as we learn and grow together. No matter how long you are away, you are welcome when you return. And whether you come with laughter in your heart or with tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with a loving mind, a loving heart, an open mind, and willing hands. We welcome you today. If you're new here, we're glad you found us and hope that even in this virtual community, you can experience the warmth and love of our congregation. Each Sunday is different here, so please do come back a few times to really get to know us. And if you would like to get better connected, please go to our website, bvuuf.org, and click on the first-time visitor page, and that will give you all sorts of both information and places you can sign up to get our weekly newsletter. If you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me right now as I light our fellowship chalice. And you can still, in this pre-recorded form, you can still write in the chat where you are lighting your chalice from. Please say the words along with me. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now as I sing our bowl again, I invite you to center yourselves with this gathered community.
Our opening words this morning are written by Thomas Hornsby Farrell. Here is a land where life is written in water. The West is where the water was and is, father and son of old mother and daughter, following rivers up immensities of range and desert, thirsting the sundown, ever crossing a hill to climb a hill still drier. Naming tonight a city by some river, a different name from last night's camping fire. Look to the green within the mountain cup. Look to the prairie, parched for water lack. Look to the sun that pulls the oceans up. Look to the clouds that give the oceans back. Look to your heart, and may your wisdom grow to power of lightning and peace of snow. The following is a reflection adapted from The Cycle That Connects Us by Molly Hausch-Gordon and Jamelia Batchelder. I invite you now into a spirit of meditation and reflection. You are invited to soften your gaze or close your eyes if you feel so moved. Now, bring to mind the location where your water was collected from. And if you didn't collect any water, instead think of a body of water which brings you comfort. Gaze into the water. Try to imagine that this body of water, no matter what or where it is made up of billions of individual water droplets. Now those droplets become rain, falling from the sky, each drop making small ripples as they hit the surface of the water. Now shift your focus to the rain. Rain falls upon the surface of the earth, and pulled by gravity, each drop begins to flow downhill. Drop merges with drop, flowing together into a trickle, a streamlet, a creek, a mighty river flowing onward. Some of the water seeps down into the earth itself as groundwater or deep aquifers, where it will stay for days, years, or even millennia, until it's pulled up again by tree roots, wells, springs, and geysers, rejoining the dance, the flowing, flowing, flowing. The water flows on until it collects in ponds, lakes, seas, and vast oceans. And all the while, the sun's rays warm the water, calling it back into vapor, so light that it can rise up, up, up. Each molecule moving on its own again, rising into the higher atmosphere, buoyant and swirling, up to where the air grows cool, and the water vapor slows and cools and begins to turn again, back to droplets. Droplets find droplets and join together again and again, forming clouds, growing heavier and heavier until at last the weight of them pulls them down again and rain falls on the surface of the earth again. Our planet has all the water it will ever have and has ever had. This water cycle has been spiraling around and around for more than 4.5 billion years. This means that the water we gather in our annual ritual comes from all over the world and also from across all time on earth. The water we gather today has traveled through the root system of trees long since turned back into soil, burst from geysers that ceased spraying millennia ago, and flowed down rivers that have carved mountains and changed their course entirely over billions of years. This morning, we also remember that the water cycle doesn't only involve rivers and plants and clouds, but also involves creatures. The water cycles through us, too, coming in and out of our bodies in many different ways. That means that the molecules in the water you gathered could have been the tears of joy and sorrow cried by the first person who ever felt love. Or that water from our fellowship sink contains within it molecules that were once in the best chicken soup someone ever ate. Or in the sweat of the people who built our beautiful building, those who built our town. Or in the blood of the mothers that birthed our grandmothers, grandmothers, grandmothers. Or even in dinosaur pee. Take a moment. Think of what and when and where else you imagine that this water has been. And as you are willing, I invite you to share your ideas in the chat below. As we gather the waters of community this morning, let us remember that they connect us to everything that has ever been and everything that ever will be. That is the power of the water we share.
The power of the water we share. On Friday, I sat in the foyer of our building and collected waters from those who would not be coming in today. And today, more of you will come and pour your water into our sacred vessel. No one will drink this water. It will not quench any physical thirst. So what is its power? Why bother? The water in this vessel today is water from the generations. It is used each and every Sunday when we share our joys and concerns. It is our water, and that in and of itself makes it sacred. And it is not our water, and that makes it sacred as well. With this water, we are always reminded that we are all bound together. Humanity, earth, and all her creatures, the critters and the creepers, the plants and the plankton, the sea and the sky. With this water, we are renewed in our covenant to one another, and all of that of which we are stewards, which really is all of it. Everything. By our lives here on earth, we are called to be stewards of everything. As we begin this fellowship year, this year that is different from any other year we've had, as we begin, may we enter it with a spirit of renewal. A renewal of relationships to those we love, and even those we have not yet found our way to love. A renewal of a relationship with ourselves. May we befriend those places within us from which we are estranged. A renewal of our relationship to the earth and to all of creation, treading more softly and advocating on behalf of the voiceless moose, the pika, and the pine. May we enter this time, this year, with a renewed commitment to justice for all of those who are marginalized, especially those who have been systematically oppressed, violated, and killed because of the persistency of racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. When we understand ourselves to be bound together, like hydrogen and oxygen that produce this sacred water, when we understand that, then we are able to build the beloved community. Let us enter into this year together with a renewed commitment to love, reason, compassion, and justice. May this be our promise and our prayer. Happy New Year. Welcome back.
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half of our plate to those organizations that share our values. This week, our half plate is for Right Relationship Boulder, a group of native and non-native Boulder area residents who have built relationships with the Arapaho and Cheyenne communities. The Arapaho and Cheyenne were forcibly removed from this land when white people settled here. Right Relationship Boulder is currently accompanying the Arapaho tribe in their efforts to create a memorial where their families can teach their children and the people of Boulder of their past, present, and future. The relationships being built are the embodiment of the deep wisdom of how we are bound together, atoning for past harm and rebuilding based on mutuality. More information can be found in our weekly Connections newsletter and on the Right Relationship Boulder Facebook page. As always, thank you for your generosity.
Beloveds, we are now in the time of our water ceremony, and being in this sanctuary, I can visualize you all coming up as we have in our other spaces, but it won't be that way this year. But I'll start as I always do. I'll start by pouring water in from previous years. And I will pour water in now for all of those who have come before, for our ancestors, known and unknown, for the founders of this fellowship, for those who have come to this land, for all of those who have come before and inspired us and made us who we are today. And now I pour water in for all of those who will come after, for the generations of Unitarian Universalists who will come through these doors and pour their water in years and years from now, merging it with our waters. And finally, I pour water in for all of those who could not come today to pour their own water in. May you know that no matter where you are still a part of this beloved community. With a pre-recorded service, I cannot put a stone into our water as each of you are speaking or putting something into the chat, but you can add something into the chat right now to share your joys and concerns with one another. I will be placing some stones in our water today. And I am deeply grieved in this very moment to have just learned, I'm sitting here in the sanctuary with Jessica, and we just learned of the death of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the inspirational Chief Justice who brought so much energy and love and wisdom to the causes of liberation for our nation. I place a stone in our waters for Chief Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I place a stone of grief for the hundreds and thousands of trees and creatures and animals that have succumbed to the fires on the West Coast, in Oregon and California particularly, and also for the fires we have burning here, just outside of Fort Collins, up by Red Feather Lakes. Here is a stone for all that is lost. And I place a stone here for the sadness and the isolation and the loneliness that this pandemic is causing for so many. I place a stone in for those of you for whom the darkening of the days brings depression, for those of you who are just longing for the physicality of touch of another being. And one last stone in here today for all of those joys and concerns that remain in the silent sanctuary of your hearts, knowing that even in our silence, we're bound together in the web of life. Beloveds, let us take heart that even in these challenging times, we have what we need when we remember to hold on to one another. Let us find moments of joy in the beauty of these days. Let us live in gratitude, even in the midst of the challenge. For it is bringing in the gratitude and the joy that is a counterbalance. It is an act of resistance to the challenges we see before us today. Let us remember to go forth in love and reason and compassion and justice. May this be our promise and our prayer. Blessed be. Amen. And now please join me as we extinguish our chalice for today. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And I am so looking forward to seeing you come in and join me and bring your waters. Blessed be, blessed be.
Beyond the sundown is tomorrow's wisdom. Today